26 cases of virulent Newcastle disease in backyard chickens have been confirmed in Southern California by the United States Department of Agriculture, USDA. Most of the cases are located in San Bernardino County. The first case was detected on May 18th in a domestic chicken in Los Angeles County. This was confirmed after a sick bird was sent to the UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine's California Animal Health and Food Safety Laboratory to be examined.
So Newcastle disease is one of these diseases that affects chickens and poultry in general. It's one of the two biggies of poultry diseases with avian influenza. It's caused by a virus, so in general it doesn't have a cure or it doesn't have a treatment, which is extremely important.
Virulent Newcastle disease is a dangerous viral disease to all birds. It is highly contagious and dangerous. There is no effective cure.
Newcastle disease usually starts as a respiratory infection. It affects the upper respiratory tract of chickens and causes watery eyes and conjunctivitis, and sometimes sneezing and coughing on the chickens. Then after that it becomes systemic, usually affecting all systems in the body of the chicken, producing diarrhea, the laying hens stop laying their eggs, and then all of a sudden they die. And the ones that recover usually start with nervous signs. So they start circling, they start with torticollis, showing all these nervous signs.
The virus can be easily transmitted from infected birds through excrement, respiratory excretion, or any equipment, clothing, or item that has been in direct contact with the infected birds.
Newcastle disease is usually transmitted by two ways or two means, direct or indirect. The direct transmission is usually through feces or exudate that the chickens might produce or might eliminate. And indirect and contact or exposure from one chicken to the other, direct exposure, and that can be inside the flock particularly. Then the other one is indirect, in which there's utensils or elements that are in a flock that are usually contaminated, and then those are used in other flocks or in other areas of that same flock, and by those elements the disease gets transmitted to one place, and then the chickens get it from the environment.
Newcastle is an exotic disease in the United States, so when there's an outbreak, it is usually from imported birds. This was the case in 1950 and from 1971 to 1973, when 11.9 million birds had to be slaughtered. In 2002, the disease resurfaced at more than 2,600 locations, killing 4 million birds and costing $160 million to eradicate, according to a UC Davis report.
It usually comes from countries that are endemic to this disease, countries that possess this disease, or they have been dealing with it for a long period of time. These countries are usually countries from Central America, some countries of South America, Africa, and Asia. So most of the times it enters into a country by illegal commercialization or illegal trading of poultry, particularly birds.
Dr. Gallardo warns that every outbreak of disease brings great losses and many problems in marketing, since a tariff barrier is created and commercial operations are halted as a preventive measure. Health officials are asking owners of domestic poultry to remain vigilant and protect their animals, also to be extremely careful about proper hygiene to prevent the virus from spreading. How can you help prevent the virus from spreading? Washing hands and scrubbing boots before and after entering an area with birds. Cleaning and disinfecting tires and equipment before moving them off the property. Isolating any birds returning from shows for 30 days before placing them back with the rest of the flock. Even though hygiene is the best way to prevent the virus from spreading, vaccination is another way of preventing disease. Vaccines are usually recommended in places where Newcastle is active and killing birds. You need to schedule an appointment with a veterinarian for vaccinations.
The two strains of vaccine that are recommended for these kind of outbreaks are B1 and La Sota, and both live vaccines. The reason is that we want complete immunity to be generated in order to protect against the virus coming into the flock. The way in which this vaccine needs to be applied is individually, and that the way in which we apply it in that case is ocular. You apply one drop on each eye of each bird.
If you suspect that you may have sick birds, report them by calling the California Sick Bird Hotline at 866-922-BIRD or 2473. If you have any questions or comments, you can call the University of California Cooperative Extension in your county or UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine at 530-219-1407.